back to the Rock and Roll Show. As the international rugby scene approaches, with the Nations Championship beginning alongside the Under-20s World Championship, we bring you an exclusive interview with Exeter Cheifs and Under-20s England star Nick Lilley. In this interview, myself and Nick chat about all things Exeter Cheifs after a remarkable turnaround this season, as well as his time at Bucks Super Rugby and of course the Under-20s World Championship this summer in Georgia. So wherever you're watching from, I hope you enjoy the interview as Rock and Roll sits down with Nick Lilley. Welcome back to the Rock and Roll Show. We're joined by England Under-20 star Nick Lilley on the show today. Welcome to the show, Nick. How's it going?
Yeah, all good, thanks. Good to be here.
Yeah, so Nick is just on the verge of playing the first game of the Under-20s World Championship this summer, obviously on the books at Exeter Cheifs. Plays for Exeter University, Plymouth Albion, and quite a few sides this year, actually. Nick, you've been playing across a lot of competitions, haven't you?
Yeah, so I started the season on the bench for Chiefs in the Prem. Got a couple games there, then went on loan to Albion. Got into my second game there and managed to rupture a few of the ligaments in my ankle. So now I was out for a fair few weeks after that. Came back, played a few little games, managed to get a game in the URC, not in the URC, against the Ulster in the Challenge Cup, and then also got the semi-final of the Bucks, that was good fun actually.
Well, that's definitely you've segued into my first question very well there, Nick, because that's first. Obviously, Bucks Super Rugby. Be quite into that as a university student myself, and I think a lot of people are sort of seeing the rise of Bucks Super Rugby in the past couple of years. It's going very sort of towards into not mainstream view, but it's getting there. You know, there's a lot of interest in the game, and you mentioned that game against Loughborough, 58 points to 48. I think we'll start there. So you've played for Exeter University for 2 years, in Bucks Super Rugby as well as in Nat 1 as well. How have you found your experience in that competition? Because we talked to a lot of people on the show, a couple of boys, talking about sort of their experience playing that in comparison to playing a bit more senior rugby and age grade stuff. How have you found it personally?
Yeah, it's unreal. It's different to every other rugby you play because everyone's pretty quick. Everyone's got good hands. Every game's high scoring as well, so it's so fun to be a part of. And playing with your mates as well makes it a lot better.
Yeah, it's very much like that. I think Rory Telford was on, and he said it was very much like the schoolboy rugby where you say you're playing with your mates and having fun like that. So we'll sort of go into that a little bit. So you've played a bit. You've sort of played a bit for Bucks Super Rugby and obviously a bit more for other teams like you mentioned Plymouth Albion, mentioned Exeter University, obviously Nat 1 more senior rugby as well. We'll talk about that game against Exeter Loughborough because obviously Exeter they've had a good season. They've made their way into the playoffs, got to the semi-final stage, came up against a very, very good Loughborough side. Titanic clash really at Loughborough playing fields at the Rubber Crumb. How did you find that game and how you found the season for the boys in Bucks Super Rugby?
Yeah, I think it reflected the season really well actually because it was such a fun game, but we had periods where we switched off a bit, and I think at half time we were getting smashed, probably like 20-30 points down already. But then obviously good group of boys dug in the second half, and we clawed it back to a 10-point game. It's just I think it was a good game. It represented Bucks really well, like just how people can score from anywhere, and yeah, it's so exciting you can't look away really.
Yeah,
Great game.
You could hear people like Dave Rogers on commentary, and he was just going, he was going mad because it was back and forth at the end, and nearly coming from that 30 points down, wasn't it? It was the deficit. I think it was maybe 31 points or something like that at a stage. What do you think sort of went into that second half performance that sort of represented what you boys have been about this season?
I think because everyone's so close, and we had a few third years who were leaving. We all wanted to give them like a good game to go out on, not getting smashed and leaving a bit of a sour taste in our mouth. So everyone dug in for each other and tried giving the boys a good send off.
Absolutely. Well, it was a cracking game to watch. I'd say probably the best game I've ever watched in Bucks of Rugby, and that is quite a high compliment because it's just tries raining in every single week. But in terms of next season, you'll obviously have a third year at Exeter University, I presume. Moving into that one, you've got the likes of Loughborough and Bath, who have been very, I guess, dominant in games in the past couple of years, particularly this season. Where do you think sort of Exeter can, especially with the success of the senior side, in Exeter Cheifs, I guess that's a bit of that's a pathway quite clearly. Where do you think Exeter can improve to, close the gap on those teams?
Yeah, I think just having another year, because we had a few young boys in this year, a lot of first and second years, just giving them they've had that time to develop. I think they're getting in an early pre-season, starting pretty soon, so hopefully everyone can just gel together pretty early, get the new freshers on board, and just everyone get together, and I think we can close the gap pretty easily because we've got the talent. It's just working together.
You can see the talent all across that back line, to be honest. There's quite a few Exeter Chiefs in there, like Ben Cohen and Noah Fenton and the likes of Ollie Batson as well, obviously your centre partner in that crazy game. But moving into the Exeter Chiefs, you've had a breakthrough into the side in the last year, making your first appearance. I believe it was Northampton Saints, wasn't it, last May? Yeah. Well, just looking at that, and also you've had 6 appearances this campaign, as well as that Challenge Cup semi-final against Ulster. Big occasion that was. Well, how have you made the step up to senior rugby at that Prem level and Challenge Cup level this season?
Yeah, I'd say that I think Bucks has been quite a big part of that. Just like it helps you build confidence, and like it helps you think like you want to get your hands on the ball as much as you can, and you can show what you've got really. Like playing men's rugby, it's a bit more attritional, a bit hitting up through the forwards a lot more, and you only get a few chances a game to show what you can do. So I think Bucks has really helped that. And then when I'm not training at the uni and I've gone into Chiefs, just trying to not stay in my shell and bring in what I can on the Bucks field to the training pitch and trying to impress the coaches.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got quite a few boys to learn off in that team. I mean, you look at the centre partnership. I think that's been something that's highlighted quite clearly in Exeter Chiefs this year, with Lenny Katow coming in, and obviously you'll have Henry Slade will be in your position at 13. Working with Henry Slade a wee bit this year, I suppose, in training and I guess in certain games. How have you what have you learnt from him as such an experienced player in that side?
Yeah, so he's a fountain of knowledge. That man, he knows everything. So just just watching him in training, like if you're not getting your reps in on the sideline, watching his scanning, watching his talking, he's like a second 10 sort of. He's always talking, always looking. And then also off the pitch, he's so smart with his defensive reading and stuff, and especially as scrum D, he's always in the right place, and just trying to copy that really is having something to work towards.
Yeah, I suppose he's a bit of a different type of player to you in terms of you're a big centre. You hit a good hard line. He's a wee bit more, I guess, is more like a second receiver sort of player. How do you sort of, I guess, learn from a bit of his game as well to take into your game?
Yeah, so not trying to be one dimensional myself, trying to watching him in the outside channels, and the way he uses the ball. He doesn't always have to run over someone. He can show and go and put a bit of footwork on. Just trying to copy that sort of stuff in the outsides, and also being able to step up like he does. I won't be able to sling a half pitch pass, but I can just link up and link with the other backs or the forwards. Yeah.
So, and has there been any sort of I know it's a bit like the old head and the young buck, really. Has there been any sort of moments in training where you've maybe cracked them one, or you've maybe gone through him or stuff like that, or anything on the other side maybe where he's maybe used a bit of skill on the other side?
But yeah, I'm still trying to catch him. I think he's had me a few times this season. But nah, trying to avoid him. Wrap him up in cotton wool, he's good for us. So just look after him.
Yeah, not let him hit him too hard. Yeah, that's fair. And another thing that we've noticed with Exeter this season, I think, is the big turnaround. Like, I guess when you go from last season sort of finishing second bottom, very disappointing by Exeter standards, to coming into this season now, making the Premiership final, making the Challenge Cup final as well, sort of going on those two fronts. What do you, as a younger player, what do you think has been the key sort of difference in the, I guess, the culture around the place? Has there been anything that you've noticed?
I think starting off at the end of pre-season, there's a massive confidence in the group and a buzz, especially with all the new signings we've made. Some pretty like superstars coming through. But then also just getting that good run of form at the start of the season, I think helped us a lot. Like, it's easy to keep riding that momentum, and we had a real belief. And like, even if we might not have got a result or we didn't perform like we wanted to, we knew everyone was bought into what we believed in, and within the group, everyone knew that the playoffs were like in our hands, and we could always make that. Whereas I think last year it was a bit. The mood in camp was a lot, not negative, but just we didn't believe. I don't think we had that belief like we do this year.
So it was a conscious real effort to sort of, we've got these new boys in the door, Tom Hooper and Lennox started coming off the back of a Lions tour really, and then that sort of pushed you a wee bit, and then you have just carried on that momentum. In terms of, you look at Rob Baxter, he's been there, I mean, as long as I can remember really. I think he took the club up really, and has obviously had great success, 2 premierships, Champions Cup as well, raft of players that have just come through the doors and have improved massively. What has been your experience with Rob as a younger player, in, I guess, both from a technical standpoint in terms of how he's maybe helped your game and helped other people's games, but also, I guess, like from a mental aspect in terms of how he's fostered a culture or anything like that?
Yeah, so on the pitch, he's pretty hands on, and he takes us through a lot of contact work, which I really enjoy, and I think it's pretty special that he does it as well. Like, he just likes just putting your head down and doing a bit of the dirty work, a bit of the donkey work. And that's something I like. I like to back myself on as well, like hitting a breakdown and not just doing the pretty stuff on the edges. And then mentally, he just wants us to graft, like, work as hard as we can, and no one can be annoyed then. He's got a belief that like we will never give up. Like, if we can't win, we'll draw, and if we can't draw, we'll lose by 1. And I think you can really see that this season with all the bonus points that we managed to pick up in those tight games. And that's all stemmed from him, really.
That's been a big thing that's been picked up, is the graft that the team has, and that was shown more than any other at that game at the Rec in the semi-final.
Yeah.
One of the first, I think, one of the first times in a long time at least that an away team has won a semi-final playoff. We obviously seen the scenes after with Manifeo Obuso in the crowd. Were you in amongst the boys there, or were you watching?
Unfortunately, we were away at camp with England, but we managed to watch the game on the flight back, and we saw some of the scenes with the supporters after, and it's just typical, isn't it? Typical Chiefs.
Sure, you had a lot of good crack. I know there's a couple of Bath boys in there, like Connor Tracy. Were you giving them a bit of stick?
Yeah, he was quiet on the way back. Very quiet. Yeah, I don't think they expected to lose at all, to be fair. So it was a bit of a shock to them, but we believe.
I'm sure you've had a smile on your face in the last couple of weeks anyway with those boys about camp. Moving into, I guess, a bit more for you personally, you've played a lot, and this is something that I've noticed quite a lot with younger players, sort of earning the stripes, playing across a lot of different competitions. You know, you've got Prem Rugby Cup, you've played in a bit of Premiership, Challenge Cup, and Nat 1, Bucks Super Rugby. How have you found that at a young age of 20? I know you're a massive player. Maybe it's the physical development that's probably come quite naturally. But how have you found playing across those different games, and that, I guess, the demands that has on you physically and, I guess, mentally as in improving as a player?
Yeah, I think it's really important being able to like mix in between teams and but still be able to put your best foot forward, because it's never going to be perfect. But I think Nat 1 especially is that, like, they're hard. Like, it toughens you up pretty quickly. And there's a lot of like good players in there, a lot of older players that have been around the block. And it's just good to learn off them as well, because obviously they're training a lot differently to how you would at Chiefs, and just seeing what little things they do that I can put into my game, and then moving across to Prem as well. Just the noise is a big thing. Like there's so much chat going on there that I think that's the biggest thing that I picked up on, that I need to like get just chat all the time, never have a quiet moment. That's the biggest difference, I'd say.
And stylistically, in terms of the difference, I think we noticed quite a bit of a similarity with Bucks at rugby and Premiership, where there is a big emphasis on attack. What do you think has been the aspect of your game that's developed the most? And could you sort of, I guess, pinpoint a particular competition that you've maybe learned that in?
Mm. I'd say that attacking around the edges that's improved the most from, that's definitely from Bucks this season and last season, just because everyone wants to pull the trigger, and just the amount of opportunities you get on the edges is just that repetition allows you to be better. And because you're going against boys who are fast as well, like you can't just go around the outside, you've got to take them on. And then you get those opportunities sort of in training, and it comes a lot easier, feels a lot easier. Um, like the defensive setups are pretty similar. So hitting lines is pretty much the same. It's just you get hit a bit harder in the prem and stuff against grown men. So yeah, the attack on the edges is the biggest one.
And moving on to under 20s World Championship this summer. I know you played last year. It's unfortunate, unable to make the semi-final stage. But you've had 13 appearances for the side. You're one of the more senior players, I guess, now. What do you think you can bring to the group, as I know you're still a young player playing your trade, but in a group that is slightly more experienced than you? What do you think you can bring to the group, and what sort of messages have you been given to the boys having had that experience last year?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just helping everyone to feel like confident. Because I think last year what helped me is that everyone was pretty friendly with each other, so no one was too afraid to make a mistake. And that brings out the best in everyone. I think just being able to show their X factor, that helped the team as well. Have everyone playing as well as they can is the most important thing. And talking to the other players, just reinforcing that grit as well, working hard, because it's pretty hard over here. We're not used to it back home. Just working for that full 18, yeah, you'll get your reward.
It's pretty warm here, I have to say, in the UK, for sure still, but I'm sure, yeah, it's another level out there in Tbilisi. But talking about your ambitions for the tournament, what are the team's ambitions going into this one?
I think we all believe that we can make it to that final and win it. I think if you're not thinking that, you're in the wrong place. Other than that, we wanna play our brand of rugby, and we want everyone to enjoy it, and we want to make everyone at home proud, and hopefully inspire some of the younger boys and girls taking up rugby to give it a crack.
Be good to see the profile of it is increasing, really, because you see Premier Sports, obviously they'll be covering a lot of those games there, and yeah, the competition has unearthed a lot of it's obviously unearthed most of the international rugby players that anyone would know, but looking particularly at England 2 years ago when they won the World Championship, you've obviously got Archie McParland, who's starting for the Saints at the minute, Henry Pollock, of course, Apoko Fajor, all these players that have come through in the last couple of years in the England under-20s in particular. How much do you take from the success that those boys have had so soon after competing in that competition, and what do you think you can sort of learn from how those boys may have played or may have conducted themselves in that the tournament?
I think it's really encouraging that as the younger players seeing that happen, it shows that if you're working hard and playing hard, it's not too far away to be in those situations. And I think the main thing for me was how they played in that 20s is how they're playing now, and they didn't change their style at all. So just playing how you play, and if they like it, they like it. You haven't got to be someone that you're not trying to play. Is the biggest thing for me.
So do you think this is something, you speak about playing like your own brand of rugby, your own game that comes naturally, authentically to you? Do you think the under-20s would be more of a place that you do that, whereas maybe Cheifs, you're trying to work on different skills and sharpening your game up in other areas?
Yeah, so that's what we've spoken about, because our time's pretty precious here in camp. We're not together all the time like they are at Cheifs, using our like individual blocks to work on our super strengths rather than our like things we need to develop, because we got all year at Cheifs to do that. Whereas here we want us to put our best foot forward, and we've all got a super strength that we think will help us win the World Cup, and just trying to keep going at that one, working hard and getting that as good as we can, so we can put our best foot forward instead of being well rounded and not having that X factor.
It's obviously at the end of a tough campaign. You speak about not having a lot of time really to I guess develop sort of patterns maybe as much as you'd like to. Tough group with Ireland in there. I know we're on the wrong side of result against them, and obviously Argentina and USA as well, who are Argentina in particular are a good side. How are the boys sort of, I guess, setting up for that one? Is it a lot of looking at past footage and sort of identifying maybe a couple of weaknesses maybe that you can exploit, or is it more sort of, I guess, as you say, focusing on your own game, your own strengths?
Yeah, I'd say it's a bit of both really. The main thing is we look at ourselves from those past games or from the training week, but we also highlight like what their less of their weaknesses and what their strengths are. So they've got a couple of really good players that we need to try and mark out the game, or if they're trying to play it wide, how wide we need to get in defence. It's a mix of both, but I'd say definitely we all focus on ourselves.
Absolutely, and it'll be first up against Ireland. On the wrong side of the result against in the Six Nations. How much does that come into your preparation, particularly with it being the first game of it against Ireland?
Yeah, massively. I think everyone was pretty hurt by that result, especially at home at the Rec in front of so many people, and no one's really forgotten it. So it's always in the back of our minds, and we're just trying to use that, but we're trying to use that to get us in the right place. We don't want to get over invested into it too early and overplay, get too rolled up. We're just trying to bubble up nicely, but yeah, we're definitely remembering that going into this game.
Absolutely, that's great. And just a couple of wee ones to finish on. A wee bit more, I guess, fun sort of questions. Take down the serious tone, I suppose. What sort of is there? I know there'll be a couple of new boys to camp. I know it's quite a common thing to have sort of initiation songs and stuff like that. You know, someone gets up on a chair and sings. Has there been any of that sort of stuff? Sort of speaking about boys integrating and stuff.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna wait. We've got to wait till after the Ireland game for that. I think get their first proper cap. Yeah, but I remember mine. It's quite a special feeling actually. Becoming properly one of the boys after that.
Yeah. What was it a song? Was it?
Yeah. It was a song on the bus. I think I did a bit of Miley Cyrus, I think.
Was it? Yeah. Very good. Did it go well, or did you get a lot of grief for it?
Well, I don't know. It went pretty well actually. But I gave it some, to be fair. I think it was Party in the USA. Yeah, I gave it some whack. So yeah, got rated for that.
You just have to go for it, I suppose. If you don't, then you'll probably regret it. And in terms of other stuff, I guess who are you rooming with at the minute? Is one of the extra boys?
I'm in with George Pearson.
Oh,
he's good. He's tidy, he is actually.
That's good. Yeah, well, that's always good. And is I guess you're dealing with different boys. Some boys from Bath, some from Exeter, some from other places. What's it sort of like with I guess making sure that the group doesn't go into like sort of different, I guess, club cliques or whatever. You know, is there like a conscious effort where you go to sort of and any activities that you get up to together to sort of integrate?
Yeah. So actually this morning we went paddleboarding on the lake, and that was really good. Brings another side out to a lot of people that you don't see when you're just training all the time. So that's really good. So I remember back at the start of camp, all the London clubs like to stick together, but we've got them out of that now. Now everyone's in with each other. It's all good.
Great. Well, that's obviously very important when you're about to head into battle. But that's great. Thank you very much, Nick, for taking the time to come on with us. And yeah, all the best for the tournament. We'll be watching on with great interest.
Thank you. Cheers, mate.